Hello, kaiju family, sci-fi family, and our YouTube family. So he doesn't really need an introduction, but we're going to give him an awesome introduction anyway. But I would like to point this out. This is actually new for me because I do host a podcast of my own called the SCI-FI Nerds, where we talk about Godzilla. We talk about just all kind of sci-fi films because we all love sci-fi, right? Well, this is new for me, so I'm actually a host on my show, but tonight I am hosting someone else's show. Now, this guest, he just achieved a major milestone, right? It's not just a small milestone. It's not just any milestone. This is a massive milestone, and we're here to celebrate not only with him, but with the awesome fans that he have. Big kaiju fan, big sci-fi fan. We've seen all of his unboxings. We've seen all of his his remakes of trailers is awesome. And let's give a big hand to Nick Adam Poland. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you hosting today for the 90,000 subscriber extravaganza that we've got going on.
Man, this is really, really awesome. And before we dive into it, I just want to congratulate you on this milestone. 90,000 active subscribers, and not just subscribers, but these active people. And I mean, this is awesome. This is really, really awesome. And so Nick, we'll go ahead and get right into this, man. So where it all started from? What was your purpose, right, behind creating your YouTube channel?
Well, the purpose, and are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear us? Yeah.
Not through the headphones.
Not through the headphones? You're not able to hear? Okay, sorry. I should have figured out the technical side of things before bringing in Deborah, who
Hey, Deborah!
Introduce. Can you hear now? Can you? Don, talk to her. See if
Can you hear me, Deborah?
Can't hear him. Oh darn, that's okay. I'll give you my headphones, Deborah. Here in just. How about that? Are you able to hear like my voice through your ears? You can't hear Donald either.
No.
Hey,
No?
Deborah.
No.
No.
I don't think.
No, you can't. Okay, that's okay. I'll give you my headphones in here in just a minute, and we'll get this all figured out. I should have figured we're broadcasting, but as a so-called broadcast professional, I should have thought about this ahead of time. I'll introduce Deborah, and then I'll get back into kind of some of the history of the channel and why I developed it and all. But I wanted to introduce everyone to Deborah Faith, and also thank you, by the way, Adrian, for being in the chat. Thank you for checking our audio. Adrian's also on YouTube, so check him out.
He's the sound guy for tonight.
What's that again?
He's the sound guy for tonight.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. So Deborah has been on the channel since she was 4 years old, and today she is 11 years old. Wow. And see, Deborah, you've got people in the chat saying hi to you. Adrian saying hi. So you're a big celebrity. Deborah has had the chance to do unboxings with me, reviews.
Yes.
She's met Akira Takarada at G-Fest. Yeah, and that was so cool. So I'm going to give you the headphones and let you say a few words to Donald on this episode. I won't be able to hear, just so you know. Okay.
All right, let's do this.
Are you nice and clear?
All right. Well, what do you remember about meeting Akira Takarada? That seems like a pretty good experience. Do you remember that at all?
Well, yes, I do. Actually, my dad made a video of me meeting Akira Takarada. He was a very nice man, and he was just a sweetie, and he just was very nice in all what he did. And he took pictures with... What are you wearing?
Huh? What's up? I'm wearing your headphones.
Oh my gosh. Can you hear me? Sorry.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Well,
Go ahead and talk
can you
to
hear me now? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, no, you're fine.
So like he was very nice. I was a little shy because I was little, so it was all just like whatever. He's a stranger, and but I didn't know him at the time, so it wasn't as big as a deal because I like I thought he was just a stranger when I was a little, but now that I know who he is, I
You're starstruck.
what?
You're starstruck.
Yep.
Mhm.
Are you going?
No, you're just
do you
fine.
want the headphones
I was
back?
going to say, do you remember one of your first box days that you did?
I don't remember.
Was this guy right here?
Again?
It was Gigan.
Again? Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that
That's a good way to start your box days is with Geigen.
Yep. One of the best. I like. If you have you watched like King of the Monsters or like, I forgot like Gigan and like. I have so mixed up with my monsters.
It's so many of them.
I know. So like Gigan and I forgot his name.
What, you're talking about Ghidra?
Ghidra.
Ghidra.
Yes.
There you go.
No.
No?
It's when they
Megalon?
team up together and
Oh, Megalon.
Megalon. Yes.
There you go.
Here,
Megalon
yes.
teams up with a Gigan and they like do that cross clap. It's so funny. It's like my favorite.
Cal, the kaiju guy's in the chat. He's saying happy birthday to Deborah. He's got a great YouTube channel, Kaiju Carnage.
Thank you.
And Adrian's asking you a question there.
My favorite box day.
And I'm guessing the ones that you've done. So, of the ones you've done.
Ooh, that's a good question.
We did the
I've done
Megalon
a
recently.
butt ton.
We did the Megalon recently. We did, obviously, we did Gigan. We've done, what else? We've done a lot of Masters of the Universe,
We
too.
did the Megalon, yeah.
You did the 4th of July special, the Mezco Destroy All Monsters.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you hosted that one.
Yep.
That was a good one. You
did
also
a great job.
One where you hosted with Ellie, the Masters of the Universe battle damage.
Yes.
That was funny because you guys kept throwing stuff. So
I don't know.
how about this? I think you like them all. You just like being on, don't you?
Yep, I love it.
So you've been a part of this for several years. That is amazing. So you've been a part of YouTube longer than I have. So that's been a pretty good. That's a great experience. No, I was saying Deborah has been a part of YouTube longer than me. She's been a part of this for several years. So that's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Mostly like rabbits. I'm kind of like, okay, sorry, I'm kind of coming and the monsters and things.
I tell you what, we're gonna let you get back to your cake because Deborah's got her birthday cake out there. We just sang
Happy
to her.
birthday.
Yeah. Hi.
And
thank you.
And I was gonna say, thank you so much, Deborah, for having your little cameo on here. And I have you to thank for 90,000 subscribers because you're just so adorable. All right, go ahead, have some cake for all of us.
I'll save some for you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
Save some for me.
Oh yeah. It's a good cake anyway. So, oh goodness. Getting back to kind of the background of Monster Report, there's someone I need to thank. He goes way back with me, Mr. Mike Ross. I met him at G-Fest, the first G-Fest I went to in 2014, which is when I started the channel, and met people like Mike and Baron, our late great friend Joe Astolfa, who passed away not long after that con that I went to and met him for the first time. May he rest in peace. But yeah, there was a lot of great people that I met through, just the G-Fest and all of that. And but it wasn't because of G-Fest that I started the channel. It was honestly, I always wanted to do a review show, and I wanted to. It's like you got a lot of things to say. You've got a lot of head knowledge, a lot of things that are going on up here, and you want to tell people about it. Right. And you're like, I want an outlet for that. And in our local areas, it's like finding a Godzilla fan's like finding, striking gold. So you're, so I want to talk to them and all that. So at least through the internet and through YouTube and the online communities, I'm able to connect with other G fans, and we can share this kind of stuff. So I thought, I'm a video producer, grew up in this small town in Indiana, and figured, I've got a lot of, I'm a fan of a lot of internet reviewers out there, the Angry Video Game Nerd and the Nostalgia Critic and all the Channel Awesome kind of guys, and things have changed over the years. That was really kind of the early days of the internet and all, but it was like, I could do this actually, but I didn't know, my approach to it. Do I want to be comedic? Do I want to be academic?
Right.
Do I want to be a blend of both? Do I want to, do reviews? Do I want to just talk about facts with do I want it scripted? So I've kind of dabbled in a little bit of all that. So I've decided to kind of make it a hodgepodge of anything monsters. And that's why I called it the Monster Report, because I didn't want to just call it something like the Godzilla Report, because it was I didn't want it to just be about Japanese kaiju. I wanted to also include like the Universal monsters and Gorgo and, the Korean monsters and American monsters too. So, because I love all the monsters. And so I'm like, and that's something I keep going back to is the classic monster movies. Watching as a kid TNT's Monster Vision and, seeing what was in the TV guide for that evening. And so I was hooked. So decided, I'm gonna launch this thing. And I was I've been in public television production for most of my adult life. Started in a small television station in a city called Richmond, Indiana, and moved on to be the station manager of what was called KISS TV in Union City High School. And that's where I was for about 5 years. I was an instructor for that program. And it was a case of you could produce your own programming, and the students did that. And I, as a teacher of that, I wanted to produce my own as well, to kind of inspire, the high school kids to say,
Right.
You could do your own show too. You like to do sports, do a sports show. You like to talk about, music, do a music show. There's all kinds of outlets for you. And so I'm like, you produce your own show. It'll be on public TV. We'll also publish it to YouTube, and you can keep that after you graduate. And I'll do my show too after hours. And it's like, had a studio space to work with green screen and all that. And so I branched kind of away from that to do my own thing. About 5 years into teaching, I was let go as a teacher. It's kind of water under the bridge anymore. 6 of us teachers were let go, budget cuts. So they ended up, sending us on our way to find new work, which was honestly, God was looking out for me, because I needed to be out of public education. There's a special kind of person who does public education, and it was not me. So now I'm in private industry, and I love it. And that's, my day job. This is not my day job. This is something I do on the side. So pays a little bit, but it doesn't pay the bills, so right. I'm, growing it as steady as I can in the, almost 10 years that I've been on the air. And so that's kind of where it kind of came from. So just doing some interviews and then doing some solo reviews, did the Hey Say Godzilla series, did the Show a Gamera series as solo reviews, the Universal Monsters as solo reviews. Did some monster news that really, lasted about 5 episodes. And I thought, I didn't really want to keep going with that, but it was, dipping my toes into different kinds of shows. Doing box days were something that kind of came along as the toy collection started building, and then doing the trailers, and now recently doing live streams as well, which has been really a blessing, because I'm used to pre-producing a lot of content, and it took me a while to edit and get it the way I like it, with quality control and all that. Now I can live stream with guys like you, and we can have this, and then it goes out there to YouTube, and it's ready to rock for the crowds. But I can also interact with people like we have in the chat, and so that kind of brings us up to present day. I don't know if I answered your question, because it was so long ago before Deborah. So, I hope I kind of got you where
Yeah,
you
no,
need
you
to be.
did. Yeah. You actually did, and it's something that you touched on that I actually wanted to ask you. So, you said you started your channel in 2014,
Mhm.
and now we're in 2022. So obviously, you've had to do a lot of work to build up a great fan base. You know, to build a name for yourself. And we're talking about the consistency. You said, you know, you're posting movie trailers, or sometimes you're posting monster reports. So it was allowing you to tap into a lot of different monsters and genres. So how did the monster report take off? Because, you know, in the 8-year period, you've had to release a lot of videos. And what caught people's attention that really allowed your channel to take off? What video did it for you that allowed the monster report to take off?
Sure, and I wish all my other videos did as well as this one particular video. But in 2014, when we had the Godzilla 2014 coming out, the new legendary film that was, you know, we were all really hoping that was going to undo maybe some of the Godzilla 98 you know, things that were going on in the fandom. And it was like, you know, divisiveness and stuff. I don't think it necessarily did that, but you know, when it came down to it, the director of that film said, Gareth Edwards said to fans, make it look like Godzilla's in your hometown. And so people started submitting their videos with hashtag Godzilla alert. And it was like, you know, there was some really cool CGI, even people that were doing stuff that I can't even do, making, you know, Godzilla's foot landing on cars and things. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool. And then there was simple videos like video selfies of somebody just running, saying run away, and pointing towards the sky, but you know, you didn't see anything and you heard the noises. And I talked to my students when I was there at the school, and I was like, you know what, guys, we could do this. We could actually make it look like Godzilla's in the sky above us. I think I could actually key out the sky and use shots from the trailer, which they gave you permission to do, sounds from the trailer, music, things like that. And you wouldn't get you wouldn't get copyright struck or anything like that if you used it, because that's all that we had at that time. We didn't have the film. We had the trailer that we could pull clips from.
Mhm.
So it was like, I think we could do something like this. And so it was just kind of a very guerrilla style shooting. You know, we just kind of like grabbed the camera and whatever kind of came to mind. And I'm like, you guys are playing a prank on me. You're making me believe that there's a monster and I'm running away from it. And it's just sound effects. Ah, ha, ha, they got me. And then it turns out it's Godzilla, you know? And so it was like, you know, it was so cool because, you know, my students were helping me out. They were shooting it because I was doing my fantastic Adam West sort of acting. Oh my goodness, cheesy. And you know, I think Adam West did a better job actually, as you know, or Nick Adams. Anyway, so I was like, you know, I'll do that, and then the next day I'll edit it. And a long time of editing, cutting it all together, but came up with about 2 minutes, and I said, let's submit it, see what happens. And you know, it really took off along with other Godzilla alert videos that were out there. And I was glad to see what everyone else was doing too. This is cool. We're bringing Godzilla back in a time period that we have the internet to really, as fans, help kind of boost the attention there. So that was kind of cool. And so Legendary Pictures, of all people, of all groups, retweeted the video. And I had a friend of mine that actually on Facebook, I wasn't on Twitter at that time, and a friend of mine on Facebook had mentioned that to me. Hey, dude, did you know that Legendary Pictures retweeted your video? And I'm like, no way, they didn't retweet my video. Maybe someone else's Godzilla alert, but not mine from the little Union City. And it was like, no, they sure did. I got on there, checked it, and I'm like, well, hey, that's a real shot in the arm. And so it's taken off since then, kind of gone semi-viral in the neighborhood of, you know, I'll look up the views, you know, if I can pull them up here. But yeah, it's really, really taken off. And I wish like I said, I wish all the videos took off that well. But it was like, hey, I'll take it. So, but I'm like, of this little town of Union City, that my little video like that would get that kind of attention. So here I'm pulling up the analytics views on it. So it is at
I'm curious to know what those views are.
Currently it is sitting at, let's look at the lifetime, not just the last 28 days. That always looks good too. But lifetime since it was uploaded is 44 million views. So yeah, approaching 45, actually 44.7 million. So but again, it's like, I can't take all the credit for that because it wasn't even my Godzilla footage or anything like that, and it definitely wasn't my acting, but it hit all the right marks. And so that's kind of cool. We got some people in the chat. I don't know if you wanted to call them up now or you want to go to something else.
Oh, well, I do want to say before I go to something else, I think what was most impressive about you telling that story, right, Adrian, it's an awesome story, is that was an awesome collab when you can collab with students on a Godzilla project. I don't think as many teachers who's in a class talking about getting together and collaborating on a King of the Monsters project in Godzilla. I just think that is really, really awesome. And, I applaud those students because that was great. That was really, really great. That's awesome. And then that's a whopping number. I wasn't expecting you to say 44 million, probably 44,000, but you said 44 million. So that is and it's approaching 45, right? So that is a huge, huge number. Congratulations to you on Nick. And that is an awesome story. And I'm glad that you got to share that with people that's watching the stream and that's in the chat, because I feel like your story needs to be heard, because it's been a lot of work behind your channel, right? You've been working at this for over 5 years, and I mean, you've been consistent. You're very intriguing. You're very curious, and I love your thought process. I love the way that you think, and it seems like it has all come together for you now, which is really, really good. So I'm really happy for you, and I'm really happy for the channel, man. So keep up the good work. You're doing a great job, Nick. But I did want to ask you this. What goals did you want to accomplish when you first started the Monster Report? And do you feel like you obtained those goals?
Sure. Yeah. The goals, it was interesting as I was going through it. I just wanted to have some fun, just like anyone else who's into content creation, meet some other fans, have some discussion, geek out, that kind of thing. And when I was actually able to monetize the channel and, start thinking about, what can I do next? Because there is a fan base, there are people watching. And I might have at some point have given up on it and said, you know what, it's fine. I'm not married to it or anything. I'm still not married to it. I mean, it's like, it's become part of what I do, but it isn't me. So, I don't want it to also own me, but right. I also was like, but it's an opportunity. And I felt like I could not pass up on the opportunity that it afforded me. So it was like, maybe I could really, launch this into somewhat of a franchise. So I was kind of seeing how other content creators were doing things. Didn't want to exactly do what they were doing because I also wanted my show to be family friendly, which not all YouTube is that way, so, and it's like, it is what it is. Not everyone has to have that kind of principle in place. So I said, I've got kids and I want them to be on my show and I want them to be able to see my show and enjoy it with me. So it's going to be family friendly. So, and if I, encounter parents with young kids or, high school kids or whatever, and they're worried about language, if they're worried about violence or they're worried about, content, it's not going to be a problem because everything I do, I want to be able to show my children, and we're homeschooling parents too. So we're very, concerned about the kind of content that they see and are exposed to. So we're very picky about that. So when it comes down to, how I was going to, work the channel, that was one of the goals going forward. The other thing is I wanted to start interviewing people that were fans and had other content like yourself, other YouTube channels, podcasters, artists, musicians, people who are writers, people who, have an outlet of their own. Because, I have a lot of people to thank that brought me even as far as this channel has gone. So I wanted to kind of give back, because I was there too with, a couple hundred subscribers, then a few thousand subscribers. And then I got to the point where it was in the tens of thousands. And I'm like, well, I don't want it to be all about me. I want to help out other content creators. I want to see if I can promote what they do too, because I feel like we're better together, and we work better when we collab. I always love seeing content creators when they do crossovers, whether they do crossover skits or crossover reviews and discussions. I think that's great, because partnerships work better than rivalries. And so I've always kind of thought that. So that was another one of my goals going forward. And now my goal kind of going forward is to build on that idea of content creators, and maybe one day developing a network of kaiju content creators or monster content creators that we can do more of those collabs and help one another, help build one another up, not just the Monster Report, but all the other content creators that loves the same intellectual property IP that we love too, and also dabble in other IP, Star Wars, Star Trek, things like that. I'm a big fan of, Dune, Masters of the Universe, dabbling in some of those other IP too. And there are monsters in all of those things too. There's plenty of monsters out there to highlight, and so that was kind of didn't want to be selective in that. And I think that's kind of one of your ideas going forward with your channel too, was that you didn't want to just be Godzilla centric, right?
Right. And I feel like, like you said, being able to collab with different artists, different podcasters, different YouTubers. And when you were speaking, it goes back to your word, because you actually did bring me aboard to be a guest on your show. And so I greatly appreciated that. And I remember the first night I watched your show, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Me and my wife was in the living room, and I said, I'm going to check this out. And I checked it out. I'm like, man, this is really good. And I was telling my wife that. And then maybe a week or so, you reached out to me. And so and it's easy for us sometimes to lose sight of who we are when our channel grows, right? Because it's easy for us to get caught up and think about ourselves, and that's something that you didn't do. So I appreciate you for the kind spirit, man. So that was awesome of you, and I'll always continue to support you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I gotta give a shout out here to one of my guests that's been on there, Stephen Patrick Lee, and he's awesome. If you get to see that episode, he's a hoot, I tell you that. Yeah. Lee Powers in the chat. So yeah, thank you, Lee. And Lee.
Godzilla will still destroy the Enterprise.
I'd love to see more Godzilla crossovers. That'd be great. We've got the Power Rangers crossover now, so why not?
Oh yeah.
It can happen.
Yeah, it's possible. Absolutely. I've seen them with the Power Rangers. It's really, really possible. So I got a few more questions that I would like to, ask you, Nick. So describe the level of popularity that you have now versus when you started the channel. And what are some of the methods you've used to keep that balance between you and that popularity?
Sure. And and I don't want to consider myself even, popular, as it were. There's like, what you might call in crowds and things like that. Growing up in school, I was definitely not in the in crowds, if you will, except for my nerd in crowds, the geeky kind of stuff. So I felt like whenever it came to my channel and its popularity, and when people, do recognize me either at G-Fest or other cons or, other places, and when I've reached out to people reached out to me, doing collabs, that's always reinvigorating. But I've always had that idea that it's to give back. And I remember even going to G-Fest that one year when we had the Symphonic Fury concert. It was like I kind of assisted with the production of that and trying to help build the funding for that, the Kickstarter campaign. So I just remember some of them saying thank you for helping, and that's what I wanted. I wanted rather it to be a more because I gave back, not because I made it all about myself. I wanted it to be
Right.
because there's something, you know, bigger than me. And it is, you know, in that case of the concert, you know, bringing Godzilla and camera music to the stage like that was, you know, just great to be a part of, even if it was a small part of it. So when people said, "Oh, thanks Monster Report for doing that," I was like, "Oh, that's great," but thank the guys who actually do produce the shows like that. So I think you know, I appreciate that more than popularity, anything like that. I like to hang out with you kind of guys, you know, like I'd love to, you know, have Adrian on, so he'll be next on the list sometime, so expect a call or message from me. And I've had Cal.
Yeah, Adrian's awesome.
Nerd popularity, gotcha. I love it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. We have to stick together, man. We're stronger together.
That's right.
Yeah, we are stronger together. And I will say this, Nick. I've been following you, not as long as, you know, a lot of people, because like I said, I mean, I just discovered you one day, and I'm like, how did I miss this? And I mean, you have an awesome channel, awesome personality. Even when you're talking about giving back and not making it about you, you know, it's bigger than you. And I think it's good that you see us as a community, and, you know, preferably other content creators and other artists and other YouTubers see us as a community as well, because we share the same common interests. We have fun when we share these interests, and, you know, and collaborations are good, crossovers are good. And I'm always curious to pick somebody's brain and, you know, see why they like this monster, or see why they like this movie, or why they dislike this in a particular movie. So I've always been curious to know those kind of things. And you, my man, you always keep me on my toes. You always keep me thinking. So you're special to this community, and I want you to know that you're really, really special to this community. And thank you for reaching out to others, other, you know, podcasters and YouTubers, and trying to help them make a name for themselves. And I think that's always great when you're giving back, especially in a community like this. Because like you said it earlier, it's like when you find one of us, we find each other. It's like striking gold. Now we can get on YouTube, and now we can create content just like any other creators. So I think that's, I mean, it's really, really awesome. We'll continue. We're going to stay on the channel a little bit more. Every moment on your channel has been special, Nick. But what are some of your favorite and special moments that you've enjoyed the most on your channel?
Sure. There's been quite a bit of moments that I've just really enjoyed. I love having the kids on the channel. Don't always do that, but I love the fact that I can have this as something that we can do together. Actually, having them react to the toys, unboxings, things like that. Done a few skits with them too, so I love making them laugh. I'm a goofy dad, so you know, and I just like to have fun, and so I want them to have fun with this too, and them to also, you know, see the kind of interest that dad has and why it is. And it's funny because, you know, they like the same kind of content I like too. There's a lot of new content, a lot of new cartoons and things like that they can watch, and they always kind of, like me, keep going back to the classics. They love the classics.
Yeah.
Like the new Disney movies, they don't have anything against them. But if we had a choice between, you know, something that was new, new IP or whatever, usually we're watching the classic Disney stuff. And when it comes to like the Godzilla stuff, yeah, they love the tokusatsu stuff. You know, it's like there's just a lot of fun that we can have together, and they're always curious about, you know, why the human characters did this, why did the monsters decide to do that. And I'm like, these are questions I had as a kid too, so this is great. You know, I'm there to be, you know, the sounding board for them, and maybe even I'm usually the one who says, be quiet, you're gonna find out, just keep watching, it's gonna be in the next scene. It'll answer the question.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
Oh, yeah, and before I was going to say thanks, Adrian, and
right, Adrian. See, Adrian agrees, man. I was like, where did he come from? Like, I was intrigued from the start to finish. I was like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's good.
and I guess I had one other thing to touch on is special moments. There's been a lot of really great interviews with some what we might call celebrities. I've had the chance to meet some of them, and some I've had the chance to interview. Not all the time have I had the chance to interview. I regret not getting an interview with Mr. Nakajima, Mr. Takarada, but I did have the chance to meet them. Mr. Takarada was great, but very, very busy schedule there at G-Fest, so I didn't want to, push into his schedule there, and I wanted him to just enjoy his time there. And Mr. Nakajima it was his last convention that I had the chance to meet him at Days of the Dead in Indianapolis, which the All Monsters Attack is that convention coming up in Indianapolis. So that was his last con. Got to meet him, got to see his panel and film that, but he was far too sick for. I was partnering with a podcast at that time, the Kaiju Transmissions, but we did get the interview with Mr. Kitagawa, who played Godzilla in the Millennium series. So that was very cool, and he was a hoot too. He was a lot of fun and great stories to tell, and just made it very enjoyable. But yeah, people like that, academics like August Ragone, if you saw that show, someone who can just talk your ear off. He knows his kaiju and Ultraman and anything tokusatsu related. He knows his geek fandom IP. But yeah, those are some of the special moments. I've had the chance to meet some of the people that I've really held up in high regard, not idolized, because I don't want to idolize a person, but or even an IP. But I always had high regards for them, and the chance to actually interact with them, meet them, interview, discuss things. That's always been very rewarding too.
I also want to, I do want to piggyback off of what you're saying about your kids. Obviously, they've been a big part of your channel, but I'm really, really curious. How did you know when you was like, my kids are into this monster genre, into this sci-fi genre? That I know you was excited. I know the enjoyment was there, but how did you know that they, like you said, hey, I got them, they're into the same thing that I'm in? What moment happened for you to realize that?
That was funny. It was Deborah when she was 3 or 4 years old. She started watching these movies with me, sitting on my lap and just, sitting very quietly watching Godzilla versus Gigan or Megalon or things like that. Was also watching some of the Universal monsters. And it was funny. She was with me one day in the high school studio where I was filming another episode, and she just always liked to imitate what I was doing. And so she got up there on set. I was cleaning up, and she just grabbed the mic and started doing her own show, if you will. And I grabbed my phone real quick and filmed it. And so if you look up on my channel, Deborah's First Monster Report, she's actually doing in her own little 3-4-year-old language that she has. She's doing a Wolfman. I don't know why the Wolfman, the Universal Wolfman, but she started doing a review of it. It didn't make any sense, but I did catch a few words in it. I even subtitled it in what I thought she was saying, which still doesn't make any sense. But it was just funny. And I'm like, she's going to be one who likes to be in front of the camera, in front of crowds, in front of people, very extroverted, and not afraid of the camera, not camera shy. She's one who, when we do these rabbit shows and 4-H shows, she's the one doing the demonstration. She's actually showing how to groom the rabbit, how to actually do the tattooing of the ears of the rabbits, how to care for it, things like that, and demonstrating and explaining the health and the maintenance and upkeep of the bunnies. And so it's like, she has no problem talking to adults, and it's just so funny that she just kind of developed into that. But then the other kids also were sort of imitating what was going on too. They would grab tables and they would unbox toys that they had, Ghostbuster toys or whatever, and pretend like they had a show going on, even setting up lights and microphones and a fake camera. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, that's great. That's great. That's creativity. And I'm like, okay, I've got to see if they'd like to actually do a few shows. And then, yeah, it kind of just went from there. And now they asked, can we do a box day? You got another figure and it's in the box. Let's unbox it. When are we going to schedule the box day?
Now, the collaboration they did on one of the box days I watched, they articulate really, really well. I mean, each and every last one of them for the age, they articulate really, really well. And it's amazing that kids this age have a superb imagination. Like when I was a little kid, I had an imagination, but it's like kids now. Like I look at my own kids and they have a big imagination, like things I would have never thought of, they think of. And I think it's so cool because it's almost like looking at a split image of yourself saying, you know, I used to do that, or I have an interest in that. And I think it's always cool when you see your kids coming up right after you. So like I got to say, you're doing a good job. You're raising them right, man. You keep them in that genre. You're doing a good job. Don't let them stray.
Thank you. It is cute. It is funny. And like you said, when you see things, mannerisms, little expressions that you make or you made as a kid, you see that in your own kids. Yeah, there's something about that. Lee had a question here about the Playmates Titan Tech figures. I actually haven't seen one in person yet, but I have seen other video reviews of them that they look interesting. I don't know what to think until I get one in my hands. I don't know if they're being sold in like Targets or Walmarts. I think.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm not sure if they're going to be sold in the Target or the Walmart. So that's something that I don't. Adrian, I'm not sure if you maybe Adrian knows. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Lee, stay tuned. I may get one and do a review.
I'll be waiting for that review. I was just about to say that. I'll be waiting for that review. So Nick, I do want to ask you this. I do want to squeeze this in while we're celebrating this episode today. Take us through your thought process when you first received the news that you had reached 90K subscribers. How surreal was that to you? Did you just say or were you like really, really excited? Like run through the motions for us.
Well, yeah, every time I have hit a new milestone, you know, when you were in the hundreds of subscribers, every time that you got one subscriber, I was happy. Every time one person would hit that subscribe button, I'm happy. And I'm still happy for every individual subscriber. I'm so happy for that. So every time they hit that, they bring a smile to my face. And so the milestones began, you know, every time I'd hit 100, every time I'd hit 1,000. And then when it got into the tens of thousands, you know, it was like 50,000 I thought was fantastic. And then it was like, you know, every once in a while checking back, seeing where it is, you know, what the subscriber count like, what the view count. Sometimes I'm surprised by, you know, how low one is. I'm like, man, I put a lot of time in that one. I was really hoping. And then another one I didn't put so much time in and it really took off. And it's like, you just don't know what the algorithm's going to and what the audience is going to kind of go with. But I'm like, you know, I'm just doing this because I'm having fun. So whether I had 90 or 90,000, I was going to be happy with it. So, but when it happened, yeah, I was making phone calls. I was like, it's hit 90K. I mean, can you believe this? Which, of course, when you're on the 9th run of the ladder, you're thinking of the next one. So here's to the next huge milestone. And then it's like on from there, numbers just go up from there. So we'll see where it goes from here, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep promoting it best I can.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, I'm going to tell you, you know, firsthand, it's going to continue to go up because, I mean, you're amazing at what you do. You're so good at what you do. And when we look at your content from the trailer remakes to you covering movies, to you covering box days, to you having skits, I mean, this channel, if anybody's looking for a monster channel, just straight monster report channel, it would be your channel because you have everything that they need and everything for them to look for. I mean, you cover everything and I mean, it's amazing. So you do a really, really good job. And so I can only see it going up from here. I mean, you're going to be trending up, brother. So get ready for another milestone because you'll be doing another show on reaching another milestone. And like I said, I'm genuinely happy for you. I'm not just saying I'm happy for you just to say it, but I am genuinely happy for you because this is a big milestone, especially when you're covering a genre like this, man. It is awesome. So the hard work is paying off, man. It really is.
Thank you so much, and it's because of a lot of supporters, a lot of help along the way, and I do this even if I didn't have the monetization, I would enjoy it, and so I'm glad to make it fun, because that's what I think it should be. This isn't a controversial show or anything. You're not going to come here to find fights. You're not going to come here to find your banter, your rants, your things like that. I mean, I have my moments where I'll rant about something, don't get me wrong, but I always try to do it in good fun, and right. So I want the viewers to enjoy this just as much as I'm enjoying it too. So that's why and I don't want it to be ever a chore. That's why if I don't produce content for a video in a while, that's okay. I'm okay with that. If I have to take a month off or whatever and catch up with some life, that's fine. Here's my buddy Donnie Winter.
Donnie Winter.
He's got a great awesome YouTube channel too. Yes.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to his YouTube channel. I quietly follow him though. He makes all kind of books. I'll be watching Donnie. I'll be seeing you, man. Yeah, he was at G Fest too. I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I'll be there next year. So hopefully he'll be there next year. I get to meet everybody. So
I just recorded an interview as a guest on Donnie's show, so that's going to come out I think in September. So I'll be looking for that.
I will be looking for that. Yeah, Donnie's awesome. So Nick, well, tell us. Yeah, Donnie is awesome, man. He's awesome. So talk about your plan. What your plan is now. As far as going forward with the Monster Report, what should we be looking forward to with your plans from now? Any new content you're working on? What's next for the Monster Report?
Sure. Yeah, I'm really planning on doing a lot more of the trailers, branching out into different categories that of content, and I don't want to give away too much, but content that maybe is a little unexpected. And surprising, and I try to break the boundaries of and push the boundaries of what I can do with the content. So, for instance, like in the monster trailers, going along with the like Jurassic Park was one of the newest ones. Seeing
that was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I'll get to the rest of the films in that series as well. But other monster films that maybe people haven't heard about that much. I love grabbing a monster film, especially a Toho classic that maybe a Godzilla fan has not heard of but hadn't had the chance to see. And so when I either do a review of it or a conversation or a trailer on it, and I bring someone to see it. Like for instance, Matango, that's one that is not maybe as well known to the Godzilla community because it doesn't have a giant monster in it, but it does have monsters. But it's got your Toho studio actors that you're kind of used to. Akira Kubo and Yoshio Tsuchiya is in it. It's got a great cast, and it's directed by Ishiro Honda, who we all love. So it's like I want to point those things out to fans. So I'll be trying to get into some more of the, let's call them obscure monster films that are out there, and not just Toho and not just Japanese monsters, some American and some other foreign land monsters as well. So there's plenty on the docket going forward, and more interviews going forward. I definitely want to bring in some more celebrities as I can going to cons now that we're starting to get in-person conventions again. Love to start getting more of those interviews again. So that's hopefully the goal going forward, but definitely looking into the idea of building a network of monster content creators, as I kind of talked about before and alluded before. But I also want to do something that will make it so that we don't have so many disputes. I mean, anything you get into, there could always be disputes. But I do want to make it something that is mutually beneficial for everyone, and to not make anything to the point where someone feels locked into an idea that I have to produce this much content. Produce it when you can. Get as much content out as you can, as you are, as well as you're able to. Just like me, if I can't for a while because life, we got our day jobs, we got our families.
Right.
Love to produce something every day, but I can't. So I'm going to produce as much as I can, and hopefully actually develop a schedule. I know that's been one of my flaws, is not being able to actually schedule this, because again, life just has prevented that, and it's kind of like, I've got people who are, I've got a family who's reliant on me, so that's why I always wanted to make sure that this is, a side thing. So, anyways, yeah. So, hey, Godzilla Train 1090, there you are. Oh, what's up with that? I had to switch over.
Adrian. It's Adrian.
That is Adrian. Okay.
That's his alter ego. Alter ego is Godzilla Transform. Yeah, that's he transformed for a minute, man.
Yeah. Cal, he's talking to Donald there.
Hey, nice to meet you as well. Nice to meet you. Glad you could be here to help celebrate with our brother. It's awesome.
Yeah, Lee, some of the less known Toho obscure kaiju. There was a Blu-ray that was recently released. It's unfortunately all in Japanese, no English subtitles, no English dubbing, but it's a combination of Varan, Space Amoeba, Gorath, and one other.
Varan is awesome.
Yeah. Oh,
it's awesome.
It's the giant jellyfish one, Togura. And so, yeah, it's 4 of those all in Blu-ray. So you get to see it in sweet high definition. You get to see Varan in sweet high definition. So yeah, I finally got my Varan in. I've been really after one forever, and finally I found one. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, be doing a review of him at sometime in the near future, but I have a defo reel of Varan coming in, so I'll be doing a 2-parter with that in the near future.
Yeah, I'll be there for that. I'll be there for that for sure.
That's going to be a fun one. But yeah, this interesting story, real quick, is that I did order this guy from Shonen Rick Japan years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when he was new, the monochrome black and white version of him, and I was really excited to get him, and he got lost in the mail. And then he got turned in as damaged, and then I didn't end up receiving him damaged or anything. I did get my money back, and he went back to Japan, I guess. I don't know where he ended up, but so I was really always, oh man, I missed out, because then at that point the price went up, and then he sold out everywhere. So I was like, oh man, I missed out. So I didn't get the chance to get him, but now I've got him. So someone actually did have a one of him that sold on Facebook, so I nabbed him up. So hey, Dylan, how you doing? Good to have you.
Dylan, what's up, man?
We've got some great people in the chat. Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
And
I love it. I love it. Love the energy. Well, I got one more question for you, Nick. So I left a little bit of time for you to answer this. Enough time, man. And I know you got a long list, right? I know you got a long list, but any special thanks to helping you get to this amazing milestone? I mean, take it all in, because this is not just any milestone, any ordinary milestone. This is a big milestone for you, and we're here tonight to help you celebrate it. So we know you got that long list of those to thank, and so Nick, we're gonna hand it over to you, brother, and the floor is yours.
I'll try not to take up too much time with it, but the first person I want to thank is Donzilla. I want to thank you, Don, because I've been inspired by your show too. I think it's great what you've got, a community of fans, of kaiju fans, and you guys get together and have your discussions. And I think that's what I've been looking forward to. And you got to have me as a guest once on one of those shows. Unfortunately, I was kind of pulled which way in that. So I'm looking forward to being on another discussion stream with this sometime in the near future. But thank you for hosting today, because you were the first person I thought of because of how
Thank
well
you.
you host your show. And I was like, I need someone to host my show to talk about this, because I could do it myself, but I want someone else to.
Right.
Yeah, and so some of these names that people are out there, you may or may not know. So I'll kind of go through them real quickly, and if I have a minute to kind of talk about them, first also. Is my good friend Chris Olio. He's always been one that I've bounced a ton of ideas off of, and he's just been rock solid friend to me, beyond a kaiju collaborator. He is a great friend, and he's one I talk to all the time. Alex Rushdie and Steve Roberts, Dawn of the Monsters developers. Yuri Renfro, met him at G Fest. Everett Grondin, my good friend Everett, Godzilla Fan Freaks. And Chris Cupers, the former Goji Fan 93, great content creators. Kyle Yunt, he's one of the other inspirations who I got into doing content creation because of his Kaiju Cast podcast, and now he's doing the Collect All Monsters. So thank you, Kyle. Been on my show a couple of times too. Getty, or Oh My Godzilla on YouTube. Michael Cal Woodman out on the stream. Kaiju Carnage. John Bellotti Jr., the artist of Robo 7. The Sci-Fi Nerds, the former Godzilla Nerds 1954, all your guys there. There's a list of Tims too. Tim Bean, met him at G-Fest, always been a supporter of the channel. Timothy Price and the Possum Kingdom Ramblers. If you get to see my Godzilla vs. Virus review, they did a remake of a Queen song in there, and you're just gonna have to listen to it. It's a fun thing that they did. It got a band to do an original song for me. Timothy Mayer, been a guest. A lot of these have been guests on my show in the following, and I've collaborated with. So Timothy Mayer, Jonathan Crosetti, Kyle and Matt of Kaiju Transmissions, Brett Hominick, George Taylor, Baron Christopher, Mike Ross, Walter Ross, Daniel DeMana of the Godzilla Novelization Project, John LeGrand, Robert Scott Field, M11, Gary Johnson, Jonathan Barnhart, Kenny Napper, Chris Canale, Rich Iso, Fresh Vinyl Live, Alan O.W. Barnes, John Stanowski, Martin Arlt, Steve Rifle, and Ed Godjuszewski, August Brigoni, Donnie Winter in the chat there, Nick Latimer, Stephen Patrick Lee, Nick Shev, Dope Pope, Lenny Romero, or Lenzations, Chris at Last Bastion Studios, Scott Knightlick, Justin Tang, Joe Stinson, and there are more than I could even list, because that's just what I could come up with in an hour of just going through my messages, text messages, and messengers, and PMs and DMs and all that. So I know there are more that I've left out, but I want to thank everyone who's watched and subscribed, and because that's what it's all about. That is what has made this channel what it has become, and I'm so grateful for it, and I want to give back, and always want to think that way. It's not about me, it's not about the personality, it's not about Nick, but it is about the content and the enjoyment, and the collaboration. That's what I love.
Man, I will say this, Nick. This was really, really awesome. So those who are watching, I actually, I'm actually used to hosting a show with my family. I don't call them my friends; I call them my family. And I'm normally used to hosting our show, but tonight I am hosting Nick's show with him, and I'll say this was an awesome experience, Nick. And I do want to say, man, that not just me, but we're all happy for you. We're all proud of you, and we still believe in you. We know that your channel is going to continue to go up from here. And I mean, and even to be a part of your experience, I greatly appreciate it. And I've even took things from you and consumed things from you, and tried to bring life to my channel. So you've been a big inspiration, not just to me, but my families, my friends. And you're not allowed to leave this community. You stay put. You're not allowed to go anywhere. I'm not going to let you go anywhere. And I know everybody else feels the same exact way. So anyway, if you guys are looking for me, my name is Donald, aka Donzilla. My mom gave me that name. Yes, she's cool. And we were originally the Godzilla Nerds, but if you're looking for us, you can find us at the Sci-Fi Nerds. And you can find us on YouTube with the Sci-Fi Nerds. And we have a Facebook page, and it's called the Sci-Fi Nerds as well, where we cover a variety of topics of sci-fi films, comic books, monsters of all kind. And so I wanted to drop that information for you guys. And then my awesome guest, Mr. Nick Adam Poland, man, congratulations. We thank you, and you guys know where to find him. And if you're new and don't know where to find him, you can always find him on the Monster Report, and he has everything that you need to know on that channel. And man, it was awesome being here tonight with you, Nick, man. Congratulations. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, but I also want to thank you on your milestones and achievements, and tell your beautiful daughter again, happy birthday, Deborah. This was fun, man. This was really, really fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, the biggest people to thank are my rock, my wife, and my 5 kids. They have supported me through this whole thing. They could have told me a long time ago, give up on this, Dad. Give up on this. This. They supported me. They said, this is something you like, this is something you enjoy, you should really pursue this. So I appreciate them more than anyone. So, but yes, thank you so much for that. And I want to encourage people to check out Sci-Fi Nerds on YouTube and on Facebook and all that. And obviously here, like, subscribe, comment, all those great things, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and obviously right here on YouTube.
That's right. And so, well, we will see you guys later. Thank you all for tuning in and joining in the Monster Report. You all have a blessed night, and talk to you later.
Thank you.